Saturday and took the ones in the walk. So I anticipated him being with the ones. When I walked out, guys grabbed me and said, hey, the last couple days we've been looking at it. Shedeur's got a few more reps with the ones. That's all it was. I wasn't even at the moment. I was like, yeah, sure, we'll flip it, and then next week we'll go the other way. I sure as hell wasn't thinking about coming back in here and telling all you guys that I was going to change my mind, because I really don't have to. And so that's...
You know when you'll be going into the game Saturday?
Nah, Coach Monk, and he's going to tell you how he told y'all. Y'all would know as soon as we know.
Cleveland just witnessed the most dramatic parking lot exodus in NFL history. Browns fans are boycotting the very first preseason game because Shedeur Sanders wasn't named starting quarterback. Season tickets abandoned, tailgates packed up. The dog pound went silent before a single snap. One decision, one missing name on the depth chart, instant mutiny. Is this the ultimate show of loyalty or the wildest overreaction the league has ever seen? The answers are wilder than you think, and the fallout is only getting started.
I don't think with the coaches that we have, you ever wonder. I think whatever is said is direct. Obviously, it's like we was informed, in everything the right way. So it was never a miscommunication between us, So I don't know. I just don't really appreciate sometimes if things happen.
The Browns may have thought they were simply announcing a preseason starter, but their fans clearly received the news as something much bigger. With the veteran set to open the exhibition game under center while Shedeur Sanders waits for his chance against Buffalo the following week, Cleveland supporters have turned a routine depth chart decision into a full-blown fan revolt.
For those Deshaun Watson fans that says, oh, we Shedeur Sanders fans are complaining, I want you to know that the reason why we are so pissed off is you keep on lying to our face back-to-back years, right? Now, last year we were told it's a competition, right? This year we're told it was a competition. 30 minutes before they got on the field, we were told Shedeur would take the first team reps, and now he's not taking the first team reps. Right? So if you want to tell us what's in the starter,
now the choice landed amid an ongoing competition in which both quarterbacks rotated first-team work throughout training camp. Yet the decision to give the opening snaps to the established player immediately triggered a wave of aggressive non-participation that has left parking lots emptier and living rooms fuller than anyone expected for a game that carries no regular season weight.
Deshaun Watson should be the starting quarterback in week 1 of the regular season. I do believe that should be Shedeur Sanders. Here's the thing. Todd Monken clued us in when he made this announcement that both Deshaun and Shedeur are going to have an opportunity to start preseason games this year. Shedeur is going to start week 2 of the preseason against the Buffalo Bills. Now, leading up to that game, there will be joint practices with the Bills. Who ends up taking the lion's share of the first team reps is going to clue us in on who has the inside track to being the week 1.
Fans who once filled the stands through years of rebuilds and coaching changes now treat the first preseason matchup as an event unworthy of their presence simply because the young passer they view as the future did not receive the initial starting nod, and the resulting displays of disappointment have grown steadily more inventive and pointed with each passing day. According to a fan tweet, for those wondering why we find so angry, the reason is because the coach just lied to us. Shedeur was meant row, make the first team reps today and not Watson. This is back-to-back years we are being lied to. When this team is 2-5, they want Sanders to start by week 8.
When I made the video telling y'all that Shedeur Sanders was going to be benched for overachieving, y'all thought I was lying. When I've been telling y'all Todd Monken is a puppet under the Haslam's puppet string, y'all been saying I'm a hater. When I've been telling y'all Deshaun Watson made $40-something million, they going to play him no matter what, I'm a hater. I would love to see Shedeur Sanders play as the starting quarterback.
Meanwhile, the aggression surfaces in coordinated campaigns of absence that stretch far beyond simple ticket non-use. Supporters have filled group conversations with detailed plans for alternative activities on game day, ranging from neighborhood gatherings focused on any sport other than the one unfolding in Chicago, to carefully timed social media posts that showcase season tickets locked away in drawers as symbols of temporary exile. Merchandise counters that normally see steady traffic for orange apparel face the prospect of quieter sales as fans declare their wallets closed until the depth chart reflects the preference that has taken root across large portions of the fan base. The message travels consistently through these gestures. The organization can evaluate its quarterbacks without the usual roar of the dog pound because the preferred name was not listed first for the opener, and the empty seats will serve as a louder statement than any packed house could manage.
Just because he's starting week 2.
Do you
he
think
can go out there and prove it that, hey, everybody's rallying around him, because the fans are going to be with him instead of the other guy. He can make his case.
Do you think if Deshaun Watson plays well on Saturday, something we just haven't seen in so long, if he goes out and plays well, again, against probably the Bears backups, whatever, do you think that will solidify it? That will end it? There's really nothing Shedeur can do the following week?
On Saturday?
Yes.
No.
This reaction draws heavily from the long history of quarterback instability that has defined the franchise, a history that has left many supporters convinced that Shedeur represents the first genuine long-term answer in years. His late-season work last year produced flashes of the athleticism and arm talent that have kept optimism alive, including the ability to deliver throws into tight windows while using mobility to extend plays when protection broke down. The disappointment was endless. Now, Shedeur Sanders was scheduled to work with the first-team offenses today, but ended up splitting second-team reps with Dylan Gabriel. Deshaun Watson took all the first-team reps today. Not sure what happened, but not a good sign for Sanders. Those moments cemented his status in living rooms across Northeast Ohio as the player who should already be positioned as the clear leader rather than someone still competing for snaps, and the decision to open the preseason with the veteran collided directly with that emotional investment. The result has been a boycott framed not as abandonment of the team, but as a pointed refusal to reward a choice that feels out of step with the future many fans have already decided upon. Inside the facility, the competition continues under the kind of pressure that coaching staffs routinely apply during camp to accelerate development. Shedeur has faced challenges adjusting to the pace of the new offensive system, particularly in the areas of getting plays called quickly and ensuring teammates line up correctly before the snap. Yet those lapses are being treated as tests rather than permanent marks against him. The staff has deliberately increased the demands during practice sessions to push growth, recognizing that neither candidate has fully separated from the other at this stage of the evaluation.
Shedeur is the best player in terms of quarterbacks available. Like, why would you not go with that guy? And after seeing what we saw last night, you would very easily be able to make the argument. Like, let's go back like 5, 6, 7 years. If any quarterback, and we're not talking Shedeur Sanders because people will always have their biases and their hate and whatever, because they just don't vibe with the kind of dude he is. And
the lack of a definitive starter heading into the regular season underscores how closely the two have performed, with the veteran carrying the weight of a substantial contract and business considerations, while the younger player offers the upside that talent evaluators ultimately prioritize when winning becomes the sole measuring stick. The second preseason game against Buffalo has therefore taken on outsized importance as the moment when Shedeur will open under center and demonstrate whether the traits that surfaced last season can translate into consistent command of the offense. Panel discussions around the league have noted that his growth and athletic tools position him as a viable candidate to lead sooner rather than later, provided the practice struggles with tempo and alignment continue to improve under the current pressure. Some voices argue that the ideal path involves allowing a veteran, such as the one currently holding the first-team role, or even an experienced presence like Joe Flacco to stabilize the early portion of the season while Shedeur prepares for the longer term, yet others insist that proven potential should accelerate the timeline if the preseason performances justify it. The organization faces the classic dilemma of balancing financial investment against on-field results, and the upcoming snaps for the second-year quarterback will supply the most concrete evidence yet of whether he can force a shift in that calculation.
So they're going to put the best guy out there. And to me, if Shedeur shows in practice and through training camp that he's the best guy, then if they feel like they can win now, he'll be the one start.
But it's interesting what you say about the business, Mike Robb, because the thumb on the scale could be $250 million is going to be sent to this man's bank account, and the amount of games that they've gotten out of him for various reasons, are not anywhere close to what they wanted when they got him from Houston. And so they might just want one last shot to see if he...
Fans have amplified the stakes of that evaluation by treating the first game as already decided against their wishes and therefore unworthy of attendance. The sarcasm that runs through their collective response highlights the absurdity of elevating a preseason opener into a referendum on organizational loyalty, yet the exaggeration itself has become part of the entertainment. Supporters who once endured endless cycles of high draft picks followed by rapid exits now frame their absence as the only logical response to a depth chart that does not yet match their vision. And the resulting spectacle of empty sections and redirected game day energy has drawn attention far beyond the usual circles. Early camp updates described and the carefully managed process suddenly looked to many supporters like a predetermined outcome rather than genuine evaluation.
They don't have a real starter. And it's been that tough. You got a guy that's making $47 million that's been bad, like real bad, like bad. Yeah. And then you got another young rookie that was supposed to be a first rounder, now he's a fifth rounder, big name kid that showed some flashes last year that's having a solid camp. I don't see what the problem is.
The subsequent wave of boycott declarations transformed what should have been a low-stakes exhibition into a high-drama referendum, complete with elaborate alternative plans and symbolic displays of unused tickets that continue to circulate as evidence of the depth of feeling involved. The physical tools that Shedeur has shown continue to fuel the belief that the wait is unnecessary. The absence of clear separation between the two candidates has left the fan base free to interpret every practice report through the lens of their preferred outcome. That interpretation has produced the current campaign of non-attendance. The business implications of the veteran's contract add another layer of complexity that fans have folded into their sarcastic commentary. The substantial financial commitment creates an understandable reluctance to move on quickly, yet the organizational philosophy that prioritizes winning above all else leaves room for a shift if the younger player demonstrates clear superiority during the remaining preseason opportunities.
Sanders up first, and the drive ends with 2 false starts on the line, and Watson next after 2 completions, a sack, and an illegal... Bro, I can't even talk, I'm so mad. Illegal formation and a false start. Monken ended practice and it looked like he threw something. Bro, at this point, bro, y'all that are Browns fans, y'all need to be confused and questioning a lot of stuff that's going on right now. For one, I understand that a quarterback may have trouble with pre-snap operations and all that stuff. I get that. But what I don't understand is why everybody acting like Shedeur is the only one that's having trouble with
His second-week start against Buffalo therefore functions as more than a standard evaluation. It becomes the first extended look at whether Shedeur can seize the role that large segments of the support base already believe belongs to him. In the meantime, the first preseason game proceeds under the shadow of deliberate absence, with supporters making good on their promises to redirect their energy elsewhere while the team gathers the data it needs. The creativity of the boycott measures continues to expand as game day approaches. Some fans have organized simultaneous viewing events for completely unrelated contests, complete with themed decorations that conspicuously avoid any shade of orange. Others have taken to documenting the empty parking areas they expect to see, framing the visual as proof that loyalty can express itself through strategic withdrawal rather than automatic presence. The tone throughout these efforts remains sharp and exaggerated, turning what could have been quiet disappointment into a public performance of principle that keeps the conversation focused on the quarterback preference at the center of the dispute. The result is a preseason atmosphere unlike any in recent memory, one in which the loudest voices have chosen silence inside the stadium as their preferred form of communication.
I thought that Shedeur had a lot of momentum, and to see this, until I get a good explanation for it, baffled is the word I would use, Mike.
Yeah, if you're baffled, I'm stunned. Like, this makes no sense.
Moment. It's the median job to get him to say anything and trip him up.
They wanted him to fail so bad.
They want, not only do they want him to fail, they are looking to divide. They know it's a team game.
I watched the Browns to see Shedeur, but I'm just going to keep it 100. I don't watch him for no other.
Everybody else watching for that reason, too.
Yeah.
Outside of Cleveland. Now, Cleveland watching because they're the Browns, but everybody outside of Cleveland watching because of Shedeur.
As the competition moves forward, the coaching staff will continue to apply the same developmental pressure that has already tested Shedeur's command of the offense. The struggles with tempo and alignment are expected to diminish with additional repetitions, particularly once the second preseason start supplies a full game environment rather than the segmented practice periods of camp. The athleticism and arm talent that have already been documented supply the foundation for optimism, and the absence of a locked-in starter heading into the regular season leaves the door open for either candidate to claim the job. Fans, however, have already cast their vote through non-attendance at the opener, and the empty seats will stand as their contribution to the ongoing evaluation, whether the organization chooses to acknowledge the gesture or not. Some observers still favor a measured approach that allows a veteran presence to stabilize the early weeks, while the younger quarterback continues refining the details of the system. Others argue that the flashes already shown are sufficient reason to accelerate the process once the second week start provides clearer evidence. In either case, the first preseason game has become a secondary concern for the portion of the fan base that has chosen boycott as its response, and the resulting spectacle of redirected energy and symbolic absence has given the entire discussion a layer of theatrical flair that pure on-field evaluation rarely achieves.
A lot of these reporters is pushing a narrative to convince y'all, the people, that Deshaun Watson all of a sudden is starting to pass up Shedeur. Watch the play calling during this weekend game be a little different for Shedeur than what Deshaun Watson got. Watch it play out. Because Shedeur is light years better than Deshaun Watson. He shouldn't even be battling him right now.
Whether the empty sections ultimately influence any internal decisions remains secondary to the immediate satisfaction fans derive from making their disappointment visible through absence rather than attendance. As the team prepares for the opener, the contrast between the controlled environment of training camp and the uncontrolled reaction of the fan base grows sharper. Inside the facility, the focus remains on gathering clean data from both quarterbacks under the pressure of live snaps and defensive looks. Outside the facility, the focus has shifted to ensuring that those snaps occur without the usual soundtrack of support, a choice that transforms the first preseason contest into an unintended experiment in the power of strategic non-participation. The ability to deliver accurate throws into contested windows and the mobility that creates second-chance opportunities, and the coaching staff's decision to increase pressure during camp is understood as an investment in faster development.
Out there like he's useful. But if you think that the Cleveland Browns are willing to give up their most famous quarterback, who they make millions of dollars a year in jersey sales off of, when they have a new stadium to pay for, I don't think that we're on the same earth or understand capitalism the same. What I'm saying is, the amount of money he's making you, the least you could do is play him, just out of respect, you know?
Still, the lack of separation between the candidates has left room for the fan base to interpret every update as further evidence that their preferred outcome is being delayed without sufficient cause, and that interpretation has produced the current wave of aggressive absence. The long-term outlook for the position will ultimately rest on the performances that remain rather than the volume of unused tickets, yet the volume of those unused tickets has already succeeded in framing the discussion around the preference that large segments of the support base hold. The second week opportunity against Buffalo therefore carries the dual weight of on-field evaluation and public expectation, and the response to that performance will determine whether the current campaign of non-attendance expands or begins to ease. In the meantime, the first preseason game proceeds with the knowledge that a significant portion of the usual audience has chosen to spend the afternoon elsewhere, turning what should have been a quiet exhibition into the opening act of a prolonged and highly theatrical disagreement over the future of the quarterback position.